Michael had always enjoyed the solitude of his small apartment in Ohio. Being alone wasn't a problem for him. In fact, he liked it. But that night, the thunderstorm had rolled in fast, and the sky was a tapestry of black clouds pierced by occasional lightning. He was sitting on the couch, headphones on, scrolling through late-night videos, when a sudden knock-knock echoed from the back door. At first, he ignored it. Maybe someone had knocked on the wrong apartment, he thought. But the knocking repeated, louder, deliberate. His heart started racing. Nobody ever used the back door. Slowly, he got up, heart hammering against his ribs, and approached the door. Peering through the rain-streaked glass, he saw a tall figure, standing perfectly still just outside. There was no face, no visible features, only the shadow of a man towering in the storm. "Hello? Who's there?" Michael whispered, his voice trembling. The knocking stopped. For a moment, there was silence, only the wind and distant thunder. Then, a few seconds later, knock-knock again. But this time, it came from upstairs, his bedroom window. The thought of someone climbing to that window made his stomach turn. Michael grabbed a flashlight and crept upstairs. His hands shook so badly he could barely hold it steady. The bedroom window was locked, curtains drawn. He checked the latch secure. Nobody could have been there. And yet, the knocking came again, faint, almost like it was right behind him. He backed into the corner of the room, flashlight trembling, when he noticed wet footprints on the carpet, leading from the window toward the middle of the room. He froze. The sound of heavy breathing filled the air, though he was alone. Suddenly, the flashlight flickered. When it turned back on, the figure was there, standing at the foot of his bed. The shadow didn't move, didn't speak. It just watched. The only thing visible was a faint outline of a smile, twisted and wrong, spreading slowly across a faceless head. Michael stumbled backward, tripping over the bed frame. The flashlight fell, rolling under the bed, casting long, dancing shadows. When he looked up again, the figure had vanished. The only sound was the storm outside and his own ragged breathing. He didn't sleep that night. Every creak, every gust of wind made him jump. And just as the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds, he noticed something chilling. Scratches on the bedroom floor, right next to the bed letters etched deep into the wood. They spelled one word: alone. Michael moved out that morning. He never returned. And sometimes, late at night, he still swears he hears knocking, coming from the back door of every empty apartment he passes. Emily had always loved her small Victorian house in a quiet town in England. It was old, creaky, and full of character, exactly what she liked. That weekend, her parents had gone out of town, leaving her completely alone. At first, it was peaceful. She cooked herself a late dinner, watched a few movies, and enjoyed the silence. But by midnight, the quiet had started to feel oppressive, almost alive. It started as a faint tapping, soft footsteps in the hallway outside her bedroom. Emily froze. Her dog, Winston, was curled up on her bed, snoring lightly. The sound couldn't have been him. She told herself it was just the house settling. Old houses made noises, right? But the tapping continued. Deliberate and rhythmic step, 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 growing louder, closer. With a racing heart, she slowly opened her bedroom door. The hallway was empty. She scanned the dimly lit corridor, shadows stretching along the wallpaper, but no one was there. The footsteps stopped. Emily exhaled, telling herself she was imagining things. She closed the door and tried to sleep. Minutes passed, and just as she was drifting off, the sound returned faster this time, heavier, almost like someone was running down the hall. Emily's pulse quickened. She reached for her phone, only to realize it was dead. Panic set in. She grabbed the small kitchen knife she kept in her drawer and crept toward the door again. Then, from under the crack at the bottom of her bedroom door, a shadow began to appear, stretching and twisting as if reaching into the room. A low, distorted male voice whispered, "Is greater than, why did you lock the door?" Emily stumbled backward, heart hammering, knife trembling in her hand. The shadow didn't move away. It lingered, pulsing like a dark breath under the door. She backed into the corner of her room, pressing herself against the wall, trying to make herself as small as possible. Every instinct screamed to run, but the hallway beyond was empty, and she had no way out. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. At some point, the shadow retreated, and the house was silent again. Emily didn't sleep a wink that night. By dawn, she decided she couldn't stay. She called her friend to pick her up, leaving the house as fast as she could. Even after moving out, Emily never forgot the whisper. Sometimes, late at night, she swears she can hear the echo of footsteps behind her, slow, rhythmic, following her wherever she goes. And she'll never again be alone in a quiet hallway, not even for a moment. Daniel had moved into his new apartment in New Jersey only a few weeks ago. It was modern, quiet, and for the first time in years, he was living completely alone. He liked the silence, the freedom. No roommates, no noise, just him and the occasional hum of the city outside. But one night, that silence began to feel wrong. It was a Wednesday. Daniel had settled in for a late-night movie marathon. The apartment was dark, only the light from the television illuminating the room. As he watched the opening credits, he noticed something odd in the reflection of the TV screen. For a split second, he saw the silhouette of a man standing behind the couch. His heart skipped a beat. Daniel spun around the empty room. Nothing. Maybe he had imagined it. Shaking his head, he turned back to the TV. But then it happened again. The figure appeared, closer now, reflected in the glossy black of the screen. This time the man was smiling. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was wrong, twisted, unnatural. Daniel's hands trembled as he reached for the remote, trying to switch off the TV. The reflection didn't disappear. Instead, it seemed to move independently, stepping closer toward him, as if trapped in the screen but somehow aware of him. The air in the apartment grew colder, heavier, like it was pressing down on his chest. He ran to the door, fumbling with the lock. No one was there. But when he returned, desperate to get the TV unplugged, the reflection now appeared directly behind him, though the space was empty. Daniel froze. The man's eyes seemed to pierce through him, empty yet intense, and the smile stretched wider, as if enjoying Daniel's fear. For hours, Daniel sat on the couch, refusing to move, refusing to look anywhere else. Every flicker of the screen made the reflection appear closer, mimicking his every movement. Sleep was impossible. The city's normal hum outside became a distant, menacing backdrop to the silence inside. By morning, Daniel convinced himself it was just his imagination. Exhaustion, stress, the paranoia of living alone for the first time. He left for work, but that night, when he returned, the apartment felt wrong. The air was thick, oppressive. The TV was off, but he could see it, the faint outline of the man's reflection lingering in the dark screen, as if waiting. Days passed, and Daniel tried to ignore it, but the figure always returned, always in the reflection. Mirrors, shiny surfaces, even the black glass of his turned-off appliances everywhere he looked. The man was there, watching. His friends noticed he'd become withdrawn, jittery, paranoid, jumping at shadows. Eventually, Daniel moved out, but he never really escaped. Late at night, even in the new apartment, he swore he could see a figure in the reflection of his phone screen, the same twisted smile. And every time he caught it, he felt the same icy dread, the sense that being alone, in silence, could bring something terrifying into your life, something that wasn't supposed to exist. Some nights, he doesn't even turn the lights on. Some nights, he leaves the TV on, just to make sure the figure isn't following him. But no matter what he does, the reflection waits, always waiting.